How's it going, guys? This is Simunation, back at it again with another video today. Today I'm going to be talking about the upcoming NASCAR Heat 5 that'll be released on July 7th for the Gold Edition and July 10th for the regular edition. To be honest with you, I just heard about this game coming out. I'm sure it was announced a while ago, but I just, became aware of it. And to be honest, it takes me off, it takes me kind of off guard there because I didn't really see the Heat franchise as something that will, occur every year, kind of like, your 2K games and other sports games. Normally I just kind of see them put a polished product together and then release it. Of course, sometimes it doesn't come out very well. But like in the last installment, NASCAR Heat 4, that one did come out pretty good, I would say. As far as the graphics go and everything of that nature, it's a pretty impressive game, as well as how they expanded on the career mode, and definitely made it into a product that is a lot more fun to play. To start with, on the Gold Edition that comes out on the July 7th for NASCAR Heat 5, some of the things you're going to get by doing that, of course, Tony Stewart is going to be the cover athlete for this game, and what you get with buying his Gold Edition, you're going to get 1.4 million in career mode currency right to start off with, so you can really jump right in and build your own team from the start. It'll of course still be a lot more difficult than it would be later down the road, but they're not trying to give you too big of an advantage and take really a lot of the fun out of building your team up. You're also going to receive 3 exclusive Tony Stewart paint schemes. I'm not too sure on what those might be. I would imagine it's going to be some of the mobile or Office Depot sponsorships there. Could potentially be a Home Depot one. I'm pretty sure I read that it wouldn't include that, but it would be nice if they did, because that is the classic Tony Stewart that most of us know. And then you're also going to receive Tony Stewart's spotter audio, so he will be your spotter if you choose so when you're racing. You'll receive a contract offer from Stewart Haas, the Stewart Haas team in your career mode as well. And then of course you're going to get the season pass, which includes the 4 DLCs that are released monthly, which would be September, October, November, and December. And then of course those all include a lot of the paint schemes that get released. Some of the new features that are going to be included with the entire game, that one of them is going to be the new testing mode, where you can basically play around with make some modifications to your car on the handling, things of that nature, and you can drive it around and test it beforehand. I think that is definitely a good feature to add as far as adding to the realism of the game. I know a lot of the drivers, they do get some opportunity to test around and play around. Of course, a lot of that can be in like the practice settings and everything like that, but you don't really get to make modifications to the entire build. More or less just kind of the handling of the car, not the mechanics of it. It also says that it's going to include a more immersive career mode. It didn't really elaborate as to what that might be. Whether that's going to be, adding more than just a social media between you and the other racers, where you can either, piss them off or, of course, make them your friend. Hopefully it includes a little bit more than that. I did like, the previous NASCAR games before the Heat series, way back when you used to be able to interact with fans and go to events like that, to build, your fan base and stuff like that. That was definitely a nice touch. A nice addition to the game, which they haven't returned, back yet to, but it would be something that would be really nice for them to add. Another thing that you do get with this edition of the game is going to be the paint shop, and that is a feature that I'm really happy is returning. It's been, away for really too long. Of course, you were able to build your own custom car and everything like that as far as the body looks. There's always something missing from the original paint shop that was included way in the earlier games. A lot more in-depth car creation, a lot more options, so your car doesn't have to look so basic. Because when you create your own custom car in the previous games, it can look all right, but it does not compare to the actual paint scheme. God, I can't speak. Paint schemes of the other cars that are out there with you. So that'll be nice to return. Hopefully they get that pretty nailed down, and hopefully it's definitely a good addition to the game. Some things that I think would be really nice to add that we haven't heard about, and a lot of these may be far-fetched. A lot of them might be things that they just decided to add but haven't mentioned yet, leave a little bit of surprise. But of course I want more starter paint models for the default cars that come with the game. I feel like in NASCAR Heat 4, really the only driver in the game that has quite a number of paint jobs is Kevin Harvick. And he, I think that, what is it, like 17 or 18 right off the bat that you get. And that's pretty, a full book there of ones to go with. In this game, I hope that it's for a lot more drivers. I mean, you look at drivers like Kyle Busch, and has just a wide variety of paint that he goes after, goes and chooses for the races. But a lot of them are only unlockable by DLC or through challenges. Now, the challenges part, I definitely think is a cool way to unlock them. I think they do leave out too many. One with the DLCs, and two, some of them they don't even include in general. But it would be nice if they did get a hold of all of them. And of course, it can be a little bit difficult as the season goes on, because the drivers will release new paint models as the season goes on, and they'll have to adjust the DLCs as according, unless they plan beforehand for what they're going to be releasing. I don't know if that's the case. I would also like if there would be more sponsors to choose from when you're creating your own custom car, or even in the career mode when you're choosing what sponsor you would like to be for your team. It would be nice if there were a little bit more of them, because I know, as an example, there's mobile for Kevin Harvick, or Jimmy John's for him as well. But when you're, driving in career mode and you want to create your own car, those aren't sponsors you can choose from. They're usually like Mountain Dew or something that doesn't necessarily have a primary sponsor. I know Chase Elliott drives with them sometimes, but Napa is also available for you to choose in career mode as a sponsor as well. But some of the sponsors you can. Now, I do get that there's some exclusive deals there. But as the career goes on, you can expect after 10 something years that eventually some of those contracts would expire and they'd become available sponsors again. Next thing I'd like for them to add, a little bit more realistic AI driving. I've noticed a lot of the cars, they don't really choose lanes per se to stick with for most of the race. A lot of them will end up on the high side, via a bump, or just happen to be riding that side because their tire grip's wearing off. Even though in real life a lot of the cars do tend to ride up the high side just out of choice, or how their car is set up to handle it. I don't really see too much of that in the game now. I'd also like to see some response to bumps. We do all the time in real life see drivers that are kind of fighting back and forth, and of course being more aggressive with each other just because they don't necessarily like each other. That'd be nice, something to add to the game as well. Another thing, and this is definitely one of the more far-fetched things, if you could have control of your vehicle during cautions and pit lanes. I do like e-racing, can't remember, I think it's iRacing it's called. I have a membership with them. I do race on that platform from time to time. You get to drive during the cautions, and in the pit lanes as well. And that's a nice feature that I wish the NASCAR games would add. They've never had, to my knowledge, something like that before, so that's why I think it's a little bit more far-fetched. But it would definitely be something that would be really nice for them to add. Just add to the realism of the game, which you can turn on and off if need be, because I know a lot of people might not like that. But for me, at least, I think it would definitely add something to the game. Another thing I'd like them to add, a little, tune up the damage a little bit. The damage looks too common in my opinion. If you run into something too fast, you always kind of know what the car is going to look like at the end of it. But in the real races, you have no idea what the car is going to come out looking like. Even in the game, if you get hit in one of the fenders, you never, or the wheel wells, sorry, you never really see any of the metal or body wearing up against the tires, causing it to pop or deflate. And that would be, something really important I think they should add, just because that happens extremely often in the real racing. So that's something I wish they'd add as well. Another thing would be more dropouts towards the end of the race. A lot of racers, I would say by the end of a race, in any typical race now would be about 32 racers at the end that are actually still racing. There's usually a good amount of people that have dropped out due to crashes, mechanical failure, stuff like that. There's nothing like that really happens in this game, NASCAR Heat 4, so I wish that would be something they could add to at least Heat 5, or if they need to build on to Heat 6 or whatever they go from here, that'd be nice. And then that also kind of leads into my next one, which will be more mechanical failures. I think we don't see a lot of the engines going out unless you cause an extensive amount of damage, but sometimes in the real races those just happen due to just failure or error. There's nothing that was caused by accident. I remember in one of the Daytona 500s a while back, Juan Pablo Montoya's suspension just gave out during a caution. He slid into the jet dryer, and that's of course one of the most famous incidents of mechanical failure, but they do happen. And then finally, for what I would like to see them add, would be more pre-race festivities, being like the driver start your engins, national anthem, the flyover of the jets. Those are things that are really important to the NASCAR production as it is now. So it's a little strange that they're not part of the game, but of course they can always add them. It wouldn't be too difficult to do. Maybe even like in NBA 2K, how you have the commentators give kind of like a pre-race breakdown. I know they do an introduction for most of the races now in this game, but you do miss the personal touch of the commentators, and then kind of a breakdown of the race. But anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Like I said, I am back, so I will be making a lot more content and making a lot more videos, really about wide range of things: sports games, action games, first-person shooters, all that stuff, whatever it is, simulations, I don't care. If you want to see me play it, leave a comment, leave a like if you enjoyed this video. I'm always open to feedback. But otherwise, guys, if you want to see more, definitely hit that subscribe button, and I will see you guys later.